What is going on, guys? In today's video I will show you the top 3 most OP builds in Path of Exile 3.27. Every new POE league brings chaos, nerfs and wild tier crafting, but some builds always rise above the noise. Path of Exile 3.27 is no different. Despite the balance shifts and mechanical shakeups, a few setups have once again proven that raw power, the clear speed and survivability will always reign supreme. No matter if you're craving lightning fast screen vibes, spell slinging dominance or the bone crushing melee mayhem, these 3 builds will deliver everything an Exile could want. So effortless mapping, boss melting damage and the kind of scaling that keeps you hooked for the entire league. And on top of it, remember, if you're looking for any of these builds on the website for their path of building, then check my links in the description. And before we continue, thanks to U4GM, they are a pro website that provides Path of Exile services like cheap currency, then even to trade all types of top quality items and mirrors and much more. They also have more than 20,000 positive comments on Trustpilot, and this website is really worth a try. So make sure to use my discount code KATE for extra 6% off. In Path of Exile 3.27, the Kinetic Blast build will stand as one of the smoothest, fastest and most rewarding setups you can play, no matter if you're starting fresh on day 1 or pushing deep into the endgame. It's a build that perfectly captures the essence of the Warden, the rapid-fire explosions, elegant mobility and screen-clearing mayhem. The Kinetic Blast itself is deceptively simple. It's a projectile attack that explodes into secondary bursts upon impact, each capable of hitting the same enemy. In practice, it feels like detonating a thunderstorm across the map. Each click unleashes a chain of miniature novas, vaporizing mobs before they can even register your presence. Our build journey will begin with familiar leveling tools. During the campaign, we will rely on explosive concoction, rain of arrows or the lightning arrow, until you secure the endless munitions from the merciless labyrinth, and that's when the build transforms. You swap to the Kinetic Blast and everything begins to melt. Survivability in the early mapping is built on life, evasion and precise positioning, but as you ascend the Atlas, you will stack on Energy Shield, the Ghost Dance, Spell Suppression and defensive setups, like the cast when damage taken plus Immortal Call. The result is a nimble and evasive powerhouse that dodges death as easily as it deletes enemies. And the best part is that no uniques are required. The Kinetic Blast functions beautifully on a shoestring budget, yet it scales to insane levels with proper investment. Still, the classic upgrades like the Replica, the Higher Ire, the Taming or the Death Rush will add powerful synergies. Each one enhances the clear speed, damage or sustain, making the build feel truly limitless. Then, when it's time to face bosses, the setup will shift slightly for maximum precision. You will summon 3 Kinetic Bolt totems, then cast Tornado and spam Kinetic Blast or Bolt while repositioning. Against pinnacle bosses, you want to swap to the Kinetic Blast or Kinetic Bolt and returning projectiles for Barrage. This dramatically will improve the single target output while maintaining your trademark agility. Then your ascendancy progression will define your tempo, so gathering wins comes first, supercharging your action speed and the movement. Then Ricochet in the Cruel Lab boosts both the clear speed and the single target potential, while Endless Munitions unlocks the core of the build's power in the Merciless Lab. And finally, the focal point in the Uber Lab will cement your boss dominance. Each node will feel like shopping another jet engine onto your character. By the time that you're tackling tier 16s, your build should be fully crit converted, with Entrench and the lucky spell suppression for durability. Aiming for 3000 combined life and ES and plus 1 million DPS makes a comfortable journey through your first 2 Void Stones, and then when you push to the 4k HP and the 3 million DPS, by the 4th stone, the Maven and Uber Elder will become super easy. And from here, the sky's the limit. Endgame Kinetic Blast builds will often diverge based on the gear. Some will opt for the Headhunter fueled map blasters, chaining kills for infinite buffs, while others chase precision crafted wands and the shields for bossing efficiency. A dream setup might include the Nimbus for returning projectiles, and a crafted explode chest, and Ish Mirror to weaponize the shock kills into the lightning storms. If there's one thing that GG's latest balance patch made clear, it's that the Energy Shield remains completely unbothered by the nerfs. While other builds will fight for relevance, the Energy Blade Inquisitor shrugs off the meta turbulence and continues to melt mobs with ruthless efficiency. It's unapologetically strong, widely scalable, and just unethical enough to make every caster feel bad for comparison. In 3.27, this powerhouse received only minor tweaks, so small enough that you will barely notice, but that's good news for anyone looking to breeze through the maps or print currency right from the league start. The heart of this build is elegantly simple. Energy Blade converts your energy shield into a massive pull of flat lightning damage. The Battle Mage then applies that damage directly to your spells, and Spellblade support cranks it even further, and the result is a tidal wave of the flat damage that makes nearly any spell viable, no matter if you're slinging fireballs, triggering crits or dropping mines. And the best part is that all three playstyles, the self-cast, the cast on crit and the mines, will share the same fundamental scaling. You can swap between them without rebuilding from scratch, letting you experiment with different gameplay flows as your gear improves. The early game is refreshingly straightforward. You want to level through the campaign as a standard caster, and then transition into the Energy Blade around your first lap once the Battle Mage unlocks. Even on a budget gear, think 5 or 10 divines total, the build already feels insanely strong, and as you progress, you will choose the preferred path. Mines will deliver precise and surgical bursts of damage and are fantastic for bossing. Then Cast on Crit will turn the build into a chaotic lightning storm with top tier clear speed. And then the self-cast will scale beautifully with investment and pairs perfectly with the new Wave of Conviction of Tartus. I tested the gem recently, and it delivers very smooth double hit consistency when paired with less duration and the spell echo. It's one of the best feeling setups this league for anyone who enjoys direct casting. The Energy Blade Inquisitor also remains one of the most adaptable league starter choices, thanks to its Sanctum compatibility. If you want to rush currency early, then the setup will excel at farming Sanctum, even after its divine drop nerfs. Tomes are now virtually free, and despite the lower divine yield, the Sanctum still prints a mountain of bubblegum currency and relics. Alternatively, if you'd rather push maps immediately, then the build's self-cast setup is sturdy enough to carry you through the early red maps before your first Ivory Tower swap. Once you hit that milestone, the character transforms, so the damage skyrockets, survivability will spike, and the scaling begins to feel almost unfair. A new welcome quality of life change this patch is the new Spectre Auto Resummon system. Previously, using utility specters like the Spirit of the Fortune felt awful since they're constantly dying mid-map, but now they automatically reappear when you change zones, letting you enjoy consistent Wrath and Lucky Lightning buffs, which is nearly a 50% damage boost in some cases, without micromanagement. It's a small but meaningful buff that fits perfectly into this setup's min-maxing potential. And then finally, when it comes to the League Star dominance and the raw melee satisfaction, the Earthshatter Berserker will continue to reign supreme in Path of Exile 3.27. It is one of the most dependable and brutal and straightforward builds that you can pick. At its core, the Earthshatter Berserker is all about the rhythm. Warcries and the slams work in the perfect sync to deliver devastating bursts of physical damage. The playstyle is explosive yet methodical. You set up your spikes with the Earthshatter, unleash a well-timed Warcry, and then watch entire packs implode under the weight of your hammer. The skill scales beautifully with the physical damage, armor and exerted attacks, meaning that even the smallest investment will translate into massive returns. As a league starter, this is one of the smoothest builds that you can take from a fresh 1 Act 1 character, all the way to the red maps without ever needing an expensive unique. Early leveling can be rough for the Marauder, but this build makes the process surprisingly painless. You want to use momentum early to offset the slow attack animations and enjoy the added movement speed buff between the fights. A simple rustic sash recipe is a white axe and a whetstone, and a rare rustic sash can carry your weapon upgrades for several acts. You can pair this with the Warcry exerted attacks as soon as possible to give the Earthshatter the extra punch it needs. Around Act 3 you can grab the Fortify support and later replace it with the Pulverize. Once you've secured the Fortify mastery, by Act 4 you will be ready for the full slam experience with the Fist of the War and the Seismic Cry, turning every hit into a screen-shaking nuke. Then the Ascendancy padding is as satisfying as practical. We take Crave the Slaughter first for the attack speed and the rage regeneration, then Rite of Ruin second to make the rage permanent and amplify your damage, and then the Aspect of the Carnage to secure the monstrous DPS spikes. And for the final lab, the Warbringer will offer extra sustain, keeping your Warcries flowing and your health topped off during longer boss fights. Together, these nodes will make the Berserker feel like a relentless machine, a powerful, fast and borderline unkillable once you get the rhythm right. What makes this build truly shine in 3.27, however, is its synergy with the Bloodline mechanics. While the Oshabi's removed adrenaline buff would have been the perfect for slams, the Breach Bloodline more than makes up for it by offering 15% less physical damage taken, which is an ideal defensive layer for life-based Bruiser. This reduction pairs beautifully with the Echoes of Creation, which is the defining endgame helmet for this build. The Echoes will cause your exerted slams to reflect a portion of your life back as a physical damage, so proper mitigation precision is key. With 30 to 50,000 armor, 6 endurance charges, and divine shield linked with a corrupted soul, the self-inflicted damage becomes negligible, while you regenerate energy shield faster. It's a clever interaction that turns a potential downside into a steady stream of sustain. From a mechanical standpoint, the Earthshatter berserker is deceptively deep. You will constantly juggle Warcry timing, spike detonations, and rage management, but once mastered, it feels incredibly smooth. Every swing calculated, and every explosion satisfying. The build excels at farming early maps, taking down pinnacle bosses and handling dense content, like Breach or the Legion. Even on a small budget, it delivers 2 to 3 million DPS with ease, and has the defenses to survive the chaos of the endgame mapping.